Is it counting? What's the deal? We're live.
We're
Look at
live.
that. And give us a countdown. So, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Relentless Talk Radio. This is the Digital Evolution, an entrepreneur's guide to evolving online. Brandy Lawson and I of Fire FX are talking every week about evolving digitally online. And one of the things we do is we wear headgear every week. So we usually meet on the first and third Thursday. We're a little out of sync this week because Brandy was in Montana last week and had a crappy internet connection. That happens. So we're just doing it no big deal, right? We just evolve and adjust.
We're flexible. I mean, we could have tried, but it probably would have been bad.
Right. We could have tried. And, and honestly, I have a new internet connection in my latest studio, evolving studio look. And so we're hoping that everything is copacetic with my latest internet connection. I think we are. We do Relentless Talk Radio. We show people what it looks like to relentlessly move forward in spite of all the flipping details, right?
Yep, indeed.
280 later, I haven't let any of the details personally or professionally, God damn it. So anyway, what's going on with you? Where are you today in the world?
Well, I'm still in Montana, but I'm not in the far rural reaches of Montana. I am in a metropolitan city in Montana.
A metropolitan, which Montana city?
Oh, Billings.
Billings.
Yeah.
Montana is one of the states I haven't been to yet. It's on my list.
Well, when you get
it's gorgeous
next year, you can just extend your trip to come up and through.
That's what I'm going to do, actually. And why I chose to postpone my Sturgis trip, COVID. I just didn't want to go through the of dealing with it. Also, I'm really torn about doing group activities during. Part of me is like, screw it. And the other part of me is like, so it's not us biker types right now. It's pain. So today we're going to talk about profiles. We did a review of what our top pre-interview, but you're going to kind of lead me through this whole thing as much as everybody else is.
100%. So today we're talking about how we evolve Facebook pages and profiles. And I think the first thing we should really dive into is recent Facebook update news, and then we'll go through the role of your Facebook pages and profile and your overall marketing plan, and then talk about your good, better, best plan for upgrading your Facebook marketing to align with your evolved business.
Awesome.
So the state of Facebook.
How is it? Just curiosity. We talked about this stuff on episode 3. Facebook social media review. So we kind of looked at all of my stuff together, and then we kind of revisited again and kind of all planned in episode 6 and then we did it. We evaluated my website and my email marketing, and now we're reevaluating Facebook based upon all collected so far. Correct?
That's correct. So we got the lay of the land in episode 3, and then we talked about what we needed from it in episode 6, and now we're going to talk about, okay, now what needs to change? Now that we are clear about what we had, what we need, now let's talk about the delta, what needs to change. And then I think this is also a relevant conversation about how Facebook is changing. There's nothing stays the same on the internet, and that's particularly true with social media.
So there's a couple things that what you're saying is coming to mind, and I'm gonna write down the one to come back to. But I don't think that my hasn't changed. Yes, I think it has changed, but it hasn't changed. Okay, for the next 6 months, I am really going to be focusing extremely more diligently, shall I say, on Choose Healthy Change. So Choose Healthy Change pages and groups will take more of a lead in the weightedness of my sharing on social media, and not in the sense that it will overpower Relentless Talk Radio, but it may equal it.
Well, and this is, but this is exactly what happens when we have multifaceted brands, when we have multiple streams of revenue. It's a juggling act. And, you got to get one plate really spinning. You got to get one ball really going before you can start adding the rest. So it's okay it's actually great to focus so that you can get that rolling. And then
I also think that sometimes your lead platform shifts. Sometimes it does, right?
So it does. 100%.
It does. So my initial piece was to get Relentless Talk Radio kind of, everybody knows I have a radio show now. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you're the chick with the radio show, right? So that they know, right? And pre-Relentless Talk Radio, my role as a visual journalist and an artist was more of a lead. And what happened was, because of the conversations I was having, the four of them, on entrepreneurs and philanthropy, art and fashion, health and fitness, I streamlined them and pulled them together into Relentless Talk Radio. Now this year, because of the COVID, I am not painting with the intention of showing for at least a couple months, right? So my painting, I'm not going to be, I had already planned on having the interviews on Relentless Talk Radio inspire paintings throughout this year. But because of the changes what we've experienced in our culture generally and the personal changes that I experienced, there's no way I can get into the studio, nor would it make sense for me to do right now. What I'm doing on Relentless Talk Radio is I'm on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm resharing the 65 interviews that I've done in the past as part of the Art of Fearlessly Doing Business and the Art of Fearlessly Giving Back. And I'll be resharing the painting episodes so people can kind of get be reminded that I'm still a painter. I'm just on hiatus right now.
Well, and this is also good. Like, content is not one and done. Just because you had the episode and it was published doesn't mean that everybody saw it. So I think this is also something to keep in mind for people when it comes to content reuse, is that, there's best of albums. There's reruns on TV. I can't remember who plopped down a whole crap ton of money for the Friends, to buy the Friends series. Content is not one and done, even in old school content. So it's okay. It's good to reuse content because your audience may have missed it, or it might be a favorite.
It's so funny that you say that, because like for the next 6 months or so, I have a television in my room. I usually have a rule against having a TV in my room. Like the room is for two things. Okay, I'll let you fill in the blank what they are. It's not for television. But in this particular case, I do have a TV in my room. So I have actually turned it on a couple times. And do you remember Mel's Diner?
Oh, wow. Yes.
So last night I was watching Mel's Diner and I was laughing because I was like, wow, I mean, it was kind of it was post me deciding to share the Art of Fearlessly Doing Business interviews with Najla Khayyam and Deborah Bateman on Relentless Talk Radio. I decided to do that because I had two people back out, and I just, with all the recent changes in my life, I couldn't just go find, like I normally would just scramble and my role filled in place. I decided, you know what, let me just start reposting these. And it made me realize this is the answer to the problem that I've had, which people are forgetting that I'm a painter, or they don't know I'm a painter. So this way on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll be able to reacclimate the people who knew I was a painter and a visual journalist in the past, introduce the new people, which is a lot since 2 years ago, okay? And also, it allows me to re-poke or re-initiate or re-worship the 65 people that I interviewed for that series. So Deborah Bateman, who you and I share as a mutual client and friend, and Poobah and just amazing human being, I reshared yesterday. And the other thing that this allows me to do is, one of the things on my to-do list that keeps on getting pushed back every day is creating thumbnails for my YouTubes. Because when I was doing my Art of Fearlessly Doing Business series, I hadn't learned yet how important thumbnails were. So now I can go through 2 at a time and create the thumbnail, relook at my description on my YouTube, make it general and update it, because when it first posted, it was during the time that the openings were happening and I was inviting. So, and I can also revisit my keywords and make sure that, and it was one of my goals this year is to get my YouTube subscribers away. People, I'm talking to you up here. I'm talking to you. Like my YouTube, because I want to get up to 20,000, right? So subscribers. So it actually solves several problems at once. And it was an accidental, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how it works when you're doing something. You just kind of accidentally discover solutions to problems. So this year I'm focusing very much on building up my traction with Choose Healthy Change, which is my health and fitness part of what I do. And then also building up the health and fitness piece within Relentless Talk Radio and having it equal my presence on Relentless Talk Radio, which is actually increasing because I'm posting more often. So my posts for Choose Healthy Change will probably triple to be able to equal what I'm doing on Relentless Talk Radio.
Right. So let's bring this
and
back around to Facebook. Oh, go
Say
ahead.
Again? How does this go to Facebook?
Well, I was going to bring it back around to Facebook so that we can continue on our conversation. But did you have something else?
All of this is getting shared on Facebook.
Right.
So my Facebook and my YouTube connect. So I'll be sharing on Facebook the YouTubes.
Yep.
And the other thing that, to go back to the beginning conversation, there are some changes on Facebook that I'm taking more advantage of. I've been taking advantage of the story option on my personal, but I haven't been as taking care of the story option on my Facebook and Choose Healthy Change pages. So now, before every episode, I will be posting the Instagram story sized image that I created in Canva on Choose Healthy Change, which is inspirational thoughts and driving people to make change, and on Relentless Talk Radio, especially for special episodes like this one.
Yeah. And so, so my perception of the state of Facebook is that in some places, for some audiences, things have changed dramatically. Like big advertisers have dropped out of Facebook. Like there's been like things happening, but I think also there's pockets of audiences where there hasn't been as much change. So for this, I think just knowing where your audience is and their context helps you use Facebook more advantageously. And Michelle, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think for you, like Facebook continues to be the place where your audience is gathering and sharing and having discussions. Like that hasn't really changed for you, right?
No, I have a heavy Facebook following. However, I am working on Instagram and YouTube a lot this year. And eventually towards the end of the year, I'll probably add a TikTok component to it. I'm really like,
well, there's Instagram Reels now.
I don't know about Reels. I know about Instagram television.
Instagram Reels is Instagram's answer to TikTok. It's basically,
you know what, I didn't know about that. I didn't know what it was. Okay, so I have two questions. One about that, but I'm going to go back to, why are the big advertisers pulling out of Facebook?
Oh, because they don't think that Facebook is doing enough to curb hate speech and make it a safe environment. And so many large advertisers, I hesitate, I can't remember the big names, but they were like large multi-million-dollar advertisers on Facebook were boycotting.
You know, I agree. And I also think I don't get any hate speech on my pages. Zero, zip.
Well, you
know why? It's because I don't pay attention to hate speech. Anything that's hateful, I delete. If you're an idiot, you're gone. Like I just have I have a zero tolerance policy on idiots on my page. Zero.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, personal responsibility for what you engage with and put up with and tolerate. I think it's a very dicey place because, you know, it is the place where freedom of speech meets up with social responsibility, and then deciding who is, like, where the line is, what that looks like, how that gets enforced, and then technology just adds one more difficult layer to it. So I don't envy the conversation. I'm glad the conversation's happening, but I don't think there's any clear, like, black or white answer.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I've just been asked to speak a couple times for college students with all the online learning. My friend Brent Kleinman reached out to me and said, "Hey, Michelle, will you talk about that very topic?" It's an important one. What you just said there, freedom of speech and social responsibility.
Like right there, bam. Like those two things, they are opposites, almost. Like you finding the nuance, the place that we can have both, is precarious, in my opinion. But I think it's worth fighting for, both.
No, that's interesting, because it's a topic for a whole other conversation. This idea of freedom, meaning that you're allowed to be toxic publicly.
Well,
I guess you are.
Yeah, but then we have the social responsibility piece. Like, where's the line, and how do we know if we've crossed it? Like, what is and
what is toxic, and what? I mean, this has happened. I mean, it both personally and professionally in my life. I'm look at toxicity. Is a good word, right? Toxicity in a whole other way than I have in the past, and personal responsibility on it. Because if I have toxic behavior in my life, on my Facebook or in my personal life, or just generally in my business world, it really is my personal responsibility to squish it. And if I don't, I've got no one else to blame but myself. And I think that's the case with Facebook. And if everyone thought that way, I think we'd have a much better place.
Yep. But then we come back to reality and understand that personal responsibility requires discomfort on the part of the person. And it's not everybody's willing to do that or be that. Yeah. It's an interesting conversation. But
that's interesting. But we digress. Yeah. So the other thing about Instagram and TikTok, we've talked about this before. Right now, my following is on Facebook for the most part. You know, the largest part of my following is on Facebook. I have a large following on LinkedIn. I have a growing following on Instagram, and I haven't dipped my toe into TikTok. And I've kind of ignored Twitter. I'm sorry, Twitter. Sorry, Twitter. But Twitter doesn't. I don't really love Twitter.
Here's the thing, and this goes back to our original conversation about strategy. Is like, go where your audience is. And your audience is currently on Facebook, and you want to hedge your bets. You want to diversify your channels. So that's why we talk about having two primary channels, which are like Facebook and Instagram. And then you've got a tertiary that's YouTube. But like, nobody can do all the things at once. Not even the gigantic brands can do all the things well at once.
Well, you know what's really kind of cool is that we've just hired our first dedicated freelancer.
Awesome.
I'm so excited about that. And we will be loading my YouTubes and Instagram televisions and podcasts. So now I can start, as I'm doing my YouTubes, I can grab the audio off my YouTube and have her load the audio. So I'm going to be systematically on a weekly basis getting caught up with my podcasts moving forward. So just love that I have the right person in place. But it's true. Like, until you're able to delegate. And I love when people say, Michelle, you want control? Like, you can't delegate. I said, listen, I would love to delegate all day long. But the reality is when you're a small business person, it costs money to delegate. And until you find a cost-effective solution and or you increase your income, then delegation is not possible. And so in that period of time, you have 24 hours in a day. I have to sleep at least 4 of them. And at this stage in my life, I like to sleep 7 of them. I have to have a little bit of a social life, and I have to have some kind of balance in my life. So I've tried to curb my workaholic tendencies, which I have extensive amounts of, so that I'm not constantly pulling 12 and 15-hour days. Or I used to pull, when I had my salon back east in Vermont, I was pulling 21-hour days on a regular basis. No joke. 21-hour days for 4 years. I won't do it anymore.
No. So I think we determined Facebook is still a primary channel. The role. So if we're thinking about specifically Choose Healthy Change, the role that your Facebook page plays for Choose Healthy Change is to.
Okay, so how do I word this? So my Choose Healthy Change component, I have a product partner with. Right. And I don't post anything about product on my personal profile.
Okay, so wait. Are we talking about I'm talking about your Facebook page. So your Choose Healthy Change Facebook page.
So Choose Healthy Change is a place where I share specifically about product and specific solutions related to my relationship with my product partners.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
The Facebook page for Choose Healthy Change is where people can go to find solutions when they're ready to choose healthy change, right?
Right, 100%. Okay.
And then I think you bring up
that on my personal profile because I don't want to abuse and I really do mean abuse. I know some people that have product partners that post a lot on their personal page, and I think it's a mistake.
So then I think that helps us clarify your Facebook profile. So what you refer to as your personal page is your Facebook profile, right?
Right.
Okay, so your Facebook profile, the role it plays is to represent Michelle and the ideas and the concepts and the inspiration that Michelle stands for. So you do talk about your own physical transformation journey. You do talk about your own life and the things that you're going through. You talk about all the facets of Michelle there, and it's to establish relationships and to attract people and to show people the things that you are the results of the ways that you are living. And then if they're interested in more about choosing healthy change, they go to the page.
Right. 100%. Okay. I will invite people to Relentless Talk Radio. And I do share Relentless Talk Radio's episodes on my personal page, but I invite people to Choose Healthy Change. I invite people to, when I'm more actively making art, Micalizzi Art and Fashion. I invite people to Micalizzi Enterprises to learn more about business, but I don't put the bulk of the meat of that content on my personal profile. The only time that I ever really post anything that is content intensive is with Relentless Talk Radio.
Well, and so I think this is the other place where it's real nuanced. It's very nuanced between using your profile and your pages. And it used to be that in Facebook's terms of service, there was language around not doing anything commercial on your profile. That has changed. That language is no longer in the terms of service. But I think it really benefits the business owner to think about what they want to be representing on their personal profile. And I don't think it's don't talk about your business on your personal profile. I don't think that's actually a good thing. But how you talk about your business on your personal profile would be like how you talk to a good friend at a party about your business. Oh yeah, I'm doing this new thing, or oh yeah, I've got a new business partner, or I'm announcing something new. You can check it out over on the page.
You're right, because you don't want to alienate the people in your life that aren't interested in health and fitness, or aren't interested in the radio show, or aren't interested in whatever. You know what I mean? You want to try to keep the people that are interested in you. And obviously there's some people that will unfollow me because they don't want to hear all the details, and that's fine. They can come visit me whenever they want to. I think some people get offended when someone unfollows you. To tell you the truth, I'm happy when people unfollow me in because it's not something they're interested in. It gives room for the algorithms on Facebook to allow people who are interested in what I'm saying to hear more of what I'm saying. So, it's an interesting social experiment, I think.
It is. So with your profile, nothing's really changing with the strategy of your profile, except for maybe you are sharing more about, because I know you share your yoga and sort of your daily routine, and you do some lives and things like that. So just a glimpse into how you personally are choosing healthy change. That has sort of amped up on your personal profile, right?
Right.
Right. Which makes good sense.
And also, as I prepare for the next bikini competition and I train, I'll be sharing my own personal journey there and then inviting people if they want to join me more intensely as far as how I do that specifically on my page.
Right. Right. So then your page, what have you made any adjustments there? Like now that you're real clear about, okay, you have a product partner and there's things that are happening there. Have you made adjustments over there?
No, I have, because my product partner has had a shift in their focus, which is actually more in alignment with my focus about having the art of well-being as opposed to focusing only on weight loss and energy and performance. I think that the change was coming pre-COVID, but I think it's been supercharged by COVID.
Accelerated.
Because I think that the most important thing that you can do right now for your health is to stay healthy. And the art of well-being is more than just being thin. You know what I mean? It's more about being healthy. And also it's more about being healthy than it is about performing. There's the one side of the coin with health and fitness, which is about everyone having that New Year's resolution and needing to get thin. And then there's the other part where there's the overzealous athlete, which at times I am one of those people. But the most important thing you can do right now for yourself is to be healthy and to eat right and to take care of yourself emotionally and physically. So that's really where the focus of the business is. That's where my focus has always been. So I'm really super excited about that. And as a result, I've shifted the branding of my page to match branding of my partner. So colors and blues. I've changed the photos to be softer or organic. And I've changed my profile pic to be a picture of the name of my group as opposed to a picture of me, because it's not about me, it's about the group.
Oh, so that was very clear. Like the shift happened, and then you made those changes on your page with the branding and the overall look and feel of it, and and I know that you've also been posting more frequently on the page, making sure that there's fresh content and that you're leading people through the path.
100%. And I think that one of the reasons why I did that was because we had a recent conference, and the chief visionary officer, who's actually speaking tonight, if anyone's listening to this, they want to hear him speak just about visioning. Okay. He's very clear about his intention for the new vision, mission, and values of the company, which is kind of basically an evolution of the company from 17 years ago, keeping the best of what was, but also adding this new focus of well-being into it. But really everything was thought out so well that I really felt there was no way that I could not align my look and feel with the company's look and feel.
Well, that's a powerful branding strategy then. Like that.
100%.
Yeah. And we know that consistency builds trust.
I also think that one of the reasons why I chose this particular branding, this particular company to partner with, was because they had a very clear and consistent vision and mission pre this shift and evolution. And this evolution's only convinced me more that it's the right product partner for me. Well,
good. Excellent. All right. So you made some changes to your profile and what you're talking about, and you continue to think about your content and how it aligns. And then you're same thing with your page. Like you've made some updates to align with the strategy and the partner's updated branding and the message, the overall communication that's happening. So great. Any other change? So as you look at the lay of the land right now, thinking about Choose Healthy Change and your profile and your page, any other changes that you think you need to make? Or like if we're thinking about the good, better, best, is there somewhere you're trying to get to with the updating of those pages over time? Maybe not this year, but maybe.
No, I think that I've taken a 6-month flex zone personally and professionally in my life, where I'm leaving room to flex and move and shift. I'm really looking at time and space, and I think there will be an evolution that will reveal itself between now and after the holidays. In the February timeframe or so, you guys might see me traveling a lot more. You might see me having dual locations in a beach community and Arizona. And as I unravel what that looks like, it will for sure affect how I'm posting and what I'm posting universally in all of my pages. But my whole life just opened up in a way that allows me to be more flexible with what's happening for me next. And I think that you'll start to see that evolve as I post and share, because that's my thing. I share my process. So I think that there will be some shifts and changes, and there will be some dynamic opportunities as it relates to Micalizzi Rides page, which we didn't talk about because we were just talking about one in this particular case. But
Right.
Micalizzi Rides is somewhat muted right now because of the fact that COVID is keeping me rides. So you'll start to see that kind of interweave between the two strong leads between Relentless Talk Radio and Change. Micalizzi Rides will interweave partnering with Relentless Talk Radio in a dynamic way that will lead to shifts and changes in my life personally that will they'll reveal themselves to me as life goes on. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
In a very
Yep. So yeah, so but that same framework, like obviously you only have one profile, but how you use your profile and your page under each business channel, like that's the same framework you can apply.
Which I think that's something we should touch base on with the one profile thing. It's a pet peeve of mine, and it's also like I get nervous for people. Facebook allows you to have one personal profile active. And if you have more than that active that you're contributing to, like you can have a page that you have deactivated in the background that you want to keep because there's friends on there that you don't want to lose, and you can have a deactivated profile, but you're only supposed to have one personal profile.
Because you're only one person. That's why you have pages.
Right. And I think a lot of people have multiple profiles. One that they post deeply personal things on to their family and friends, and the other one that's more public to their personal to their other part of their personal life where they only share to a certain degree. And I believe it's a mistake because it confuses people. And also, if Facebook keeps you doing, they'll shut down both pages.
Both profiles,
sorry, because it is actually against the Facebook community standards.
Yeah, and so here's the thing: is like when we were expecting my son, that wasn't something I wanted to splash all over my Facebook page because I was at that point looking for a job.
Right.
So I created
a page.
Right. Splash all over my profile. So I've created a private group for just family and friends. I invited them to this private group on Facebook, and I posted the stuff there. So that would be an alternative to trying to have two profiles, is you can use Facebook groups not for like big groups, but like for small family groups.
Right. Smart. So, I have when I see people having two pages, I just remind them that you should deactivate one of them.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
You don't have to cancel it, just deactivate it, which means that it's no longer public.
Right? Yes.
So if everything that Brandy and I just said confused the crap out of you and you'd like to meet with us to do a personal consultation, you can do that by going to meetwithmick.com, and you can have a free consultation. And I'm going to put this up here on the bottom of our screen here. Meetwithmick.com, choose a digital evolution consultation. Brandy and I will talk with you and help you to make some decisions around what to do next or what not to do next. And We are here usually every first and third Thursday at 9 a.m. We were a little different this week because of our internet connection issue last week. But definitely, if you also want to watch us on replay, you can do that in 2 places now and find us easily. You can go to the playlist on either youtube.relentlesstalkradio.com or the playlist on Relentless Talk Radio's business page on Facebook and watch the playlist of all 10 episodes of thus far of the Digital Evolution. Moving forward in the future, Brandy and I are working with Scott on a Go Digital Faster. And we are currently on the lead page for that for you to sign up. So we'll keep you posted on when you can sign up for that. But we'll be consolidating the work that we're doing on Digital Evolution, an entrepreneur's guide to evolving online, and the Video Lab, an entrepreneur's guide to creating video, into a membership-based site where you guys can get added value and this immense amount of content that is behind the scenes from that space. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and connect with either Brandy or I and let us know on private message that you'd like for us to send you a link to the lead page. Brandy, did you have any tools or applications you wanted to share with people before we close?
I was just trying to think if there was something that I was using. It's so funny because like the tools I use are just, oh, you know what? Well, this is not social media related, but signature generators. So do you have an email signature, Michelle? I'm sure that you do.
Yeah, I do actually.
And you
I don't continue on because I got a feeling you're going to give me something I don't know yet.
So within your Gmail or Office 365, there's a place where you can put your signature. And sometimes like you can insert a picture, but it's hard to make it look nice. There are a ton of signature creators out there. I've used WiseStamp, WISESTAMP, for eons. You can go create a free signature there.
Great.
But you can also put things like your booking link, or like if you're trying to get people to connect with you on a particular social platform, you can put your like follow me on YouTube, your subscribe on YouTube in your signature so that it's just there for people. And when they're like, oh, Michelle had that thing. Or if they read your email, they're like, oh, Michelle's got a YouTube channel. So your email signature is a place where you can put like what you're working on or things that you're trying to get, your latest blog posts. Some of them will put your like latest Instagram posts, but that your email signature and using an email signature generator can make it real easy for you to do that. And there's like literally, I think HubSpot even has one at this point. There's a ton of different free generators out there. I use WiseStamp. HubSpot has one. If you just look for email signature creator, you'll find them. But I think that's an easy way to create something that looks really nice, get some calls to action in your signature, and then place that in there. Oh, there you go.
So look, I just thought I'd share this. This is cool because here are some examples. Let's see if it lets me blow one up. So here's a Gmail signature, I think.
Yep.
Yep. So it lets you create something a little bit more on your page. Always get something. So I wanted to see if is there a pricing? There's a free. It puts a little created by WiseStamp at the bottom of your signature, which is pretty unobtrusive for a free one. And like I said, like HubSpot has a free one too, and I'm not sure that they have any sort of like leave created by HubSpot in there. There's many to choose from. I just happened to like get WiseStamp way back in the day, and I've been using it ever since. But just thinking about how you're closing out your emails, and if you're making sure people have the information they need to connect with you if they wanted to. Love it.
There's two.
Love that. So thanks for adding a minute, and that's it. So we're done for the day. This has been the Digital Evolution. This has been episode 10, where we read Facebook page about updates using my situation as a personal kind of jogger for you. But I'm sure listening in on what I'm doing, it kind of prompted you to think about what you're doing, especially on Facebook, both on your profile and your business pages. So come on back first Thursday in September, or third Thursday in September, in August. Wait, what day are we on?
Yeah.
It's
Still
the
in
next one is
August.
third Thursday in August is our next episode. So thanks a lot, Brandy. Enjoy the rest of your vacay. When are you coming home to Phoenix? Anytime soon?
We'll be home this week. We'll be home this week. So next week I'll be back in my space.
Awesome. Cool. Well, enjoy the last week. Drink it up.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Mhm.
Bye, Michelle.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.